My dad was born and raised in Haiti, and the Haitian culture and experience he definitely carries with him.
He came from a country where it was the first independent Black republic, and I've always understood the significance of that and the pride that my father has always had.
My father comes from a background himself of a family-owned business.
Coming from a family business in Haiti that had a really well-respected name, he wanted to create that same type of feeling here in the United States, specifically in Oregon.
When he came here to the States, he really believed in that concept and that American dream, and we can all, do well here.
My parents had sent me here to get a mechanical engineering degree. I came here in '69, and that was the Vietnam War was raging. And then I thought, well, that kind of would be nice to have a strong military background. During my service, a friend of mine had met someone from Oregon who came and studied in Haiti. They wanted me to be coming back to be the best man at their wedding. Her sister was the maid of honor. She and I, for some reason, started to write to one another, and my good Lord, Oregon became the place that I spent the rest of my life.
My father, he had a very prosperous career in the telecommunications industry.
So very entrenched in corporate America, and he did quite well over there, but I think he just reached a point in his life where he's like, you know what? I want to do something completely different, completely opposite of this.
At the time he was building his dream home, he hired a general contractor, and unfortunately, that didn't work out well.
And so he was like, I can take this over and I can do this. I've been owning rental properties. I've been developing neighborhoods for quite a while, and this is something that I really enjoy doing and I think I can do well. And so he took the leap of faith very shortly after that experience and started our company, Colas Construction.
The early projects that my father really renovated were homes primarily in Northeast Portland. And at the time, it was predominantly people of color.
When I first started, I went and blighted area in the community. And with my own money, I started to change that.
Back in the 90s, they were, challenging times for the city of Portland and for the residents around there. So he always had a real sense of duty behind, like, hey, how can I lift up, basically, this community?
He always felt that if you're able to live in a quality home, you're going to have a better life.
He really launched the company just as I was graduating from college.
My sister was kind of his employee number one, and frankly kind of helped scale the business with him very much. So it's kind of like he was the founder and she was his right-hand woman.
And so I've had the pleasure of really seeing the growth, seeing and knowing the vision that my father had.
He really had this dream of creating this company that would remap what the construction industry looked like.
They kept at it, they kept determined, and continued to kind of build a pretty versatile portfolio.
And my father, really willed our company into becoming a significant company in the Pacific Northwest. So we're really proud of that.
Hermann is just a fabulous business person, and he's operated within an industry that is not always easy. It's a competitive industry. It's a largely white and male-dominated industry.
There's not a tremendous amount of companies that look like us, so I think the first inclination from most people when they saw my dad and team at the table is kind of like, you guys don't really look like the traditional builder.
In the United States, we have a lot of barriers for sure.
But he wasn't raised with the notion that, like, hey, if you hit a barrier, you need to just be okay with that. He's very much a barrier breaker.
When you come from a country like Haiti, the president's black, the minister of education is black, your teachers are black, your nurses, the garbage man, everybody is black and they're successful and they're doing real things. And so there's never been a limiter on what you can achieve.
My dad is a just extraordinarily determined person. I mean, that's one thing. If I can think of a word, I mean, it is determination that defines him.
The industry does not change unless something is pushing it toward changing. And I felt that we did a lot of that pushing.
After I became the president of Portland State University, one of the first people that welcomed me and asked me to sit down and get to know him was Hermann Colas. He said, "Steve, I know you believe in racial justice and equity. Here's an area where I think I might be able to give you some information to be helpful." He and his son helped me understand that our contracting regulations and processes for proposals were really biased to organizations that already had a large footing in the area, had already built buildings in educational settings. Hermann helped us understand that we could change our policies and procedures and give more opportunity to minority-owned firms and to smaller firms and to emerging firms. And he did that in a very supportive way.
He shows up always with a kind of understated determination, which I think that's perseverance, that's tenacity, that's vision, that's belief, and that's hope, right? That it is possible, and that's infectious.
Each project's, in some sense, a member of your family, so you love them all in their own right.
June Key Delta, that was a very heartfelt project. First living building in Oregon State with the Portland Delta chapter.
So I'm a very, very proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We had a building purchased by one of our members many, many, many years ago. She purchased it, and it was an old gas station. We got it just, decent enough that we could have meetings there. And then over the years, we started thinking, we're on prime property here. We're on the corner of North Albina and Ainsworth. And this is right across from the Rose Garden at Peninsula Park, and wanted to really develop our building. And knowing about Colas Construction, reached out to Andrew and thought, would this be something that you are interested in doing? He brought Mr. Colas in, and our members were so excited. I will say they were so thrilled to meet this black man, this Haitian man, his proud Haitian man, but black man that had his own construction company. We're a historically African-American sorority, and so the woman that spearheaded that project was Chris Poole Jones. And Chris Poole Jones, bless her heart, she is now deceased, and she led that project for us, for our sorority.
And when she and my father teamed up on that project, there was no way that it wasn't going to be completed. So that was just a really beautiful project that meant a lot to us in the community.
We didn't have all the money up front. We didn't have everything right there. And Mr. Colas was right there with us the entire step of the way, and he was determined to see it through with us. And now when any of us see a Colas Construction sign anywhere, it's such a sense of pride and such a sense of just huge accomplishment and just admiration and just really just love and just thankfulness, because we know that we were a part of their story and they're a part of our story.
One of the projects that stands out for me as well, the Cascadia Garlington Center.
It was the first project that we built on Martin Luther King Jr., and it was the first project that I was aware of that an African-American company had built on that street.
The Garlington Center campus was the first large-scale project that we were awarded in a competitive process, in a competitive RFP process.
And that was the launch pad project, I could say, that took us to the next level, because we had somebody believe in us, and then they were like, other developers were like, oh, well, if they can do this project, then they can do ours.
The Oregon Convention Center, that was a significant project.
Colas Construction was awarded that through an RFP process, got to remodel the convention center. And at that time, that was the largest public contract awarded to a minority-owned construction company.
We broke records in terms of equitable hiring practices, which again speaks to what we had always been trying to do and bringing up other firms, supporting other firms, and more importantly, demonstrating to the larger public that there are people who look like this who are also capable of doing fantastic work in the construction and built environment.
And then the last thing I'd mention, and it's still underway, it's right on Powell, it's 206 units of affordable housing, and it was also the first time we had a tower crane. Growing up, going around this town, you know, everybody sees tower cranes every single day. And I started realizing there had never been a company that was Black-owned that had a tower crane in Oregon, Washington, and I could not find somebody in California. People that we compete against, they've been around for 50, 60, 100 years. The reality is a Black-owned company could not have been around in Portland, Oregon 50 years ago. When we finally got that first tower crane, it was significant, and being there with my father and my sister and my brother and my sons, it was a special moment for us to kind of arrive. And the first thing my father said was, you know, I think we all shed a quick tear, and then he said, all right, go get the next one. That's my dad.
Today, especially like when we're building, we bring young kids to see people that are riding some very important piece of equipment. And then they realize, my gosh, this guy look like me. I say, yes. And that means that you can go up to do what he is doing or more.
His love for what it is that he contributes is really all about the future and future generations and future opportunities for young people to look back at work that people like him that looked like him did, and with pride and with excellence, and never being limited by what others said could not be done.
Mr. Colas believes in his kids. He believes in his kids, all of them, his nephew as well. You know, the family is there. The family is at the center of this.
Hermann and Roberta together really thought about how they would raise their children in a way that was values-driven, and that leaving the company in the hands and the leadership of your children is also about this legacy and leaving the world and your community a better place.
And that's what we want as a parent, to be able to build something that will outlast you. And he's done that, and he's getting to see it.
For us, it's about just continuing on in that mission, continuing on in the legacy that he's created.
It has to be so incredibly gratifying for him now, for those that didn't think that he would be able to build this incredible legacy, this incredible company.
One of his biggest legacies is creating a company that represents what the United States and Portland should look like.
The kind of things we're doing is really enlarging the way that I saw this country of ours. I feel our country is not going to regress. I feel this is the country of the future, and I'm very glad that we're going to be part of that future.